Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. It is kind of a fall feeling day today. We had some rain and storms yesterday, a little bit of rain overnight, and it's supposed to be getting some more today, and it's breezy, and I mean, it doesn't look like fall, you know, all the trees are still green, but man, it feels like it's fall today. It's teasing us. It's that time of the year here in the Ozarks that we get these days and it teases us and then we bounce back to summer. Well, we've been talking about, for the last, myself and just about everybody else online, okay? We've been talking about this resurgence of COVID lockdowns, potential at least. Alex Jones, of course, kind of brought it to popularity talk, I guess. I think it was last week when he made the claim that he had spoken with a TSA agent and a Border Patrol agent, and both of them said that in their inner office training and meetings and stuff, they were told that by the middle of September that, you know, mandates and stuff would start rolling out, and by somewhere in December we would see the full surge of lockdown. Now, we don't know this for certain, but we are starting to see indicators that this could possibly happen. There's a few different variants out there that they're claiming. Some people, depending on who you listen to, some people claim that they're nothing. Some people are claiming that they're bad. And I know what a lot of you are saying, that, well, it's just a common cold, or it's just the flu, or it's just whatever. It's just made up. I see and I hear all the things, and what I keep telling people since the beginning of this 3 years ago. It doesn't really matter the actual, real, factual severity of what's happening. What matters is the perception of the people, you know, just like the last time. You know, if the people perceive it's the Black Plague, then that's how they will react to it. And then the reaction of the people trickles down to how it affects you and I. And of course, you know, government interaction with the reaction of the people. And so that's really what we have to worry about. And while it's still, I think, personally, I think we're still teetering on whether or not there will be a big reaction to this or not. It does appear that a lot of the world is starting to ramp it up. The European Union has kicked off their, shot in the arm program a month early, and Canada is starting to, put in place a lot of their protocols from 3 years ago. We're also seeing a lot of businesses here in the United States. I'm getting reports. I'm seeing things online, and then people are sending it to me directly, of lots of businesses and hospitals and schools and so on that are re-masking. They're doing it voluntarily. We're seeing a more increased talk of that it's time to get your seasonal things, and we're just seeing it kind of build up. Yesterday, it was announced that Jill Biden, not Joe Biden, Jill Biden, tested positive for it. Now, that one kind of made me think that if this is nothing, and if they're not really planning on doing anything, then why would, and if her illness, infection of it, or whatever it is, I'm sure it's not. I mean, who knows if it's real or not? Doesn't matter. If it was mild and they weren't expecting anything, then why would they make this big announcement? Why would they just, not even say anything? If she was only going to be ill for a couple of days, I mean, it's easy to just hide that and no one ever know it. But because that they're putting it out there as big news, and they're saying that Joe Biden is now getting regularly tested again, like he claimed he once was, kind of as another indicator on my part that we probably are going to see some attempt, at least, to bring it all back. Okay? Now, again, I've said this before, we need to get ready for this, because it's very possible it's going to happen. I think it's becoming ever likely increasing that it's going to happen. And if you add to that with the possibility of some kind of, physical conflict between us and either Russia or China or somewhere in Africa, we're seeing that kind of continually uptick. Very possibly between now and next spring, where we could see some things happen. I mean, it's just constant buildup. Ukraine is running out of troops. Okay, and that's going to be a big thing that could change things drastically when it comes to the war. They're running out of troops. They're now trying to conscript women and compel women to join forces in their military. And so at some point, I mean, we can throw tens of billions, we can throw hundreds of billions of dollars and trillions of dollars. We could send them every bit of armaments we have, but if they don't have troops, it doesn't really matter. So at some point, they're going to start needing troops. And not knowing exactly what the plan is that going to be us directly or NATO directly sending people in? Or are we going to be seeing campaigns to encourage people to volunteer for their foreign legion forces in Ukraine? I don't know how it's going to look. But at some point, they're going to need troops because they're running out. And so that's another factor. The whole banking crisis, all that, it's not looking good. BRICS is building up its speed, and by the first of the year, it's really going to start affecting more of the international financial markets. There's a whole lot of stuff going on, and I think that the whole potential 2.0 of the pandemic could have a major effect on all of us. So what we need to be doing is taking everything seriously. We can't allow this kind of daisical, just relaxed. Well, we've been through it before. We know what to expect. We can handle it. We survived the last one. Yeah, it sucked, but we'll be all right. We can't do that. We have to understand that if, in fact, this is brought back and reinforced, it's probably going to be much worse. All of the infrastructure that they have been building, putting into place over the last 3 years, the technology, laws being passed, all of that's happened for a purpose. It's been done for a purpose to be used against us. Remember, there's an election next year, and so... And I don't get much into politics. I couldn't care less about what happens in politics for the most part, because it's all fake, it's all planned out, it's all bought and paid for, and they know who's going to win. But they've got to make it look like that they stay in power. That if they did what they did the last major election to gain power, and then the things that they've done since then, they're going to stop at nothing. And even Biden said that they're going to stop at nothing to retain power. They can't allow someone to potentially get in some little black swan election where a good guy actually wins once. They can't allow that. So they're going to do everything they can. Tucker Carlson the other day said he believes it was going to be World War III, that we would be engaged between now and the next election, 2024, that we would see a major engagement in the war, and it would cause potential state national emergency declarations and all this to radically change how the next election will happen. If you add that to a potential pandemic flying around and other kind of crises, it would definitely give them the fuel that they need to very much alter and control the next election. Of course, this is all hypothetical talk. We're just speaking some theories and stuff, but I think that we've all learned enough over the last few years to know that these theories, it's just a matter of time before they become fact. The difference between a conspiracy theory and conspiracy fact is, it's a few weeks or a few months. And so that's what we're seeing. So we need to be stocking up. We need to be getting ourselves prepared financially. If you can get out of debt as much as you can. Debt right now in America is it's overwhelming people. So you should be trying to get out of debt, making sure you're stocking up on food. There is a link I'll leave below in the description in the comments. My Patriot Supply is running it ends today. It's a Labor Day special, so it ends today. This is Tuesday, the September 5th. It's $80 off of a 1 month food supply, which is a really good deal. They have a good product, so for like $177, you can buy 1 month of food for one person. And so it's a pretty good deal to add to your food supplies. Other things, boomsticks and ammo, medical supplies, making sure that you're stocked up and ready for the winter, because this isn't only going to possibly happen soon, it could possibly happen during winter, where there's already rumors and talks around the world and even in this country of restrictions of fuel usage because of, limited supplies, because of, greenhouse carbon emissions and all of that kind of stuff. England, they're encouraging people in England to not run their heaters at night now for the winter. That's great. The coldest part of the day, the time of the day that you're inside the most, and you turn your heater off. The possibility of several things, or even a couple of really big things happening over the next, season, the winter into spring, is very, very likely. And so we need to be ready for that. We need to be on edge and prepared. So I would encourage you to get out there and do these things that you need to do. You should know by now, unless you're brand new, if you're a complete greenhorn and you just tuned in today because you woke up yesterday thinking, you know what, I need to be prepared. The rest of you should know what to do. I shouldn't have to go into too great of detail of what you need to be doing to get ready. Because we've lived through it before, and use it as a learning experience. Think back of the things that were that you regretted not stocking up on. There's more and more. I'm seeing more and more reports from you people of the amount of shortages that are starting to happen. It's like it got bad, and then over the last year or so, it got a little bit better. The shortages wasn't too bad, and then now we're seeing it happen again, and we're seeing reports of food increased prices over the next few months, meat, vegetables, things like that. We're seeing possibilities of shortages due to other factors, trucking, tariffs on canned good metals, shortages in the wheat because of bad wheat harvests and poor corn harvests, all this kind of stuff. We're seeing things just kind of start stacking up. Any one of them usually aren't a very tragic thing or a major deal, but when you start to add them together, and we're getting into the at least dozens of things that are all adding up, they can greatly affect us, and we need to be ready for that. So take it serious. Start stocking up, even if it's just a few canned goods a week, or just a little bit. Just your basic staples is your dry goods, your dry milks and your rice and your beans and your pastas, stuff to have aside. Then your canned goods, your vegetables. Most vegetables will last at least 5 years if they're properly stored, and meat, canned meat, will last usually at least 7 years if properly stored. Then your medical, make sure you have robust medical supplies and over-the-counter medications, and if you are able to stockpile the prescription medications that you're on. There are ways to do it, but you need to be doing this kind of stuff. Fuel for your vehicles, fuel for your heat, whatever fuel you use, if you're able to stockpile it, whether it's wood or propane, or having secondary heat sources, backup heat sources. This is the kind of stuff we need to be doing, because we're getting close to the winter season, and we're seeing all of these things start to stack up that show strong indicators that we may be going through some craziness come the cold weather. So it's time to get your houses in order, folks. It's time to get prepared mentally, physically, and spiritually. You know what to do. That's your orders for the day. All right, folks. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.